Hey there, Postal here. So today we are going to be taking a look at some F4U-4 gameplay. I've got two battles for you here. I don't know what it is about me, but as I play the Tier 6 on request, and I was thinking to myself, well, what the heck's the difference between the Tier 6 and the Tier 7? And maybe we'll take a look at a later time at the difference between the Tier 7 and the Tier 8. So this is the F4U-4. And the differences aren't many between this and the Tier 6. The biggest difference, we'll go over some other minute differences, but the biggest difference is going to be the cannons. These cannons do 115 damage per second, rather than the 90 at Tier 6. You got some nuanced other good things going for you. But that's going to be the biggest difference between the two. Right now, we're just going to get stuck in when it's just enemy or neutral air defense aircraft. This plane turns really well with them. Let's get our cannons on target. Come on, there we go. All right, so from here, I was going to leave the center alone. I'm a multi-role, and I'm not a hugely impactful ground roll. Got 8 rockets on here. They do some damage, but I tend to focus on using them like supplementally. But at this point, we're going to lose the center mining facility if I don't get over there, and we might lose it even if I do get over there. So let's see what we can do. All right, so we've got this P-47 here. Oh, he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't react to me. Obviously, we've got some other planes that we're going to have to deal with, but let's get rid of this guy first, if we can. He's a little bit far out on my range. Now he's closer, but he's already in trouble. Of course, my gun's overheated there. I was tapping them a little bit too much to start, but he can escape me as far as turning is concerned. I was going to say he's probably trying to get his rockets or something out, which... Alright. Alright, so let's go ahead and get rid of the ground attackers here. Get my guns on target very well there. I highlight out. I'm gonna probably ram into this guy. Hitting the air brakes, hitting the air brakes, hitting the air brakes. Guns overheated, guns overheated. Watch the map. Make sure there's nothing that can come in and kill me. The great thing about the F4U-4 is that in a Tier 7 battle especially, there's not a whole lot that you have to worry about. I mean, you obviously have to worry about other fighters and things of that nature, but the F4U-4 is really good at dogfighting. In fact, so far all we've done is air damage. Let's defend this sector a little bit more. They've already got half of it back, but if we can knock out some of these characters, get rid of this guy real quick. 20mm cannons really tear up fighters and multi-rolls. Well, hello. Alright, that'll get us some capture points back, won't it? Let's knock out this ground attacker really quick. Oh, never mind. Keep seeing other things that we need to make sure we prioritize. Yeah, I want to get rid of the ground attacker. I don't want them to capture this sector, but let's not run into the... Okay. But I mean, if I left those fighters alone, if I left the multi-rolls alone, then I'd be opening myself up to a counterattack, or just not being effective because I can't get away from a BF-19F. As much as I don't like that plane, I think it's not a very good plane. You can still kick your butt if you're in an F4U-4 not paying attention. Let's see if I can get some altitude here. Well, that was a waste. So we've owned the center section here. We're getting the mining boost, or bonus, whatever you want to call it. Nothing really going on there. They got a bunch of people coming inbound here. So let's kill this guy. Probably head back to the center. This is one of those maps that, if you're able to effectively defend a sector, the mining facility specifically, then that's actually just as good as always be capping. Looks like we can capture this sector though really quick. Just because the mining facility earns so many capture points that it's actually an effective way if you can defend it. That being said, if the enemy team's smart, they will simply go and capture the other 4 sectors. But it sometimes takes a while for people to come to the realization of. But either way, we're going to go ahead and capture this sector really quick. Hopefully, if I can get my guns on target properly. There we go. Got ourselves a Lambert. That's pretty nice. You're on fire. Can we get this guy knocked out? Will this even get us the sector? Oh, so I was going to say, I can kill that guy and then knock out the ship down there with some rockets. Still got these rockets, but didn't need to do any ground damage to be able to get this sector. See, I feel like I'm using too much speed, too much of my energy to actually get up to this guy. And so is it going to be the thing to do? I'm going to level off here just so I don't stall out. Actually, it looks like the game's basically over here. Yeah. Do we do any ground damage? Really just being effective. Hey, those rockets are good for that too. That's pretty nice. Got ourselves a cheeky Rocketeer there at the end. Didn't need to do too much though. This is one of those games that, you know, just able to dictate the pace of the battle. So let's head on, let's check out a second battle. Alright, so we're taking out the F4U-4 again, and we're going to see what we can do. We're top tier again, which is always nice. They got a Yak 3RD, which is not nice. Our flexibility is not going to be very flexible. We've got a P39N on our team, though, so we'll see what we can do. Fortunately, he's bottom tier, but c'est la vie. Don't know why I'm rushing in here. We've got our rockets. I guess, you know what? Let's just go ahead and toss all our rockets down here. Just get that little piece of something. Oh, did I not? Did I really miss a frickin' tent? That's disappointing. Got it. Alright, cool. So now let's do our dogfight thing. Perfect. We need to send our friend over there. We're going to go to the mining facility. And the reason we're going to go to the mining facility is because I feel like we can have an impact on the ME-265. Not that the P39N can't have an impact on that. Where's our P39N? Oh, there he is. But my 420mm cannons are just going to be more consistent and do that kind of lovely damage that you want when you're going against ground attackers. We got a bomber here. Let's see what we can do. Versus said bomber. This is PE2 just hanging down at the low tiers. The low altitudes. Unfortunately, killed him just outside the sector. That's disappointing. Let's angle down just a little bit. We're just a little bit outside our optimum altitude. Let's go ahead and angle down a little bit so we get our engine back up and running here. We can boom right up. Feel like I could have hit something there, but apparently did not. So now we need to go get that sector, and we'll push along to it. Having the mine is certainly, you know, if everything stays the same here, we're going to win this battle. But I can guarantee they're going to be freaking fighting, trying to get this sector. There's Spitfire 5. Let's see what we can do versus him. He's not paying attention to us, so this is prime time to get a tourney fighter knocked out. I'm Typhoon here, which is basically my British equivalent. Let's make sure we're not going to get ourselves knocked out or hurt here. Okay. What we need to do is knock out this knock out the Yak-3RD, whoever he is. My rockets are back, so let's take advantage of that if we can. See what we can do here. That Yak got behind. Oh, Yak-9U actually killed me. I was going to say the Yak-3RD was pulled out in front of me there, so. But what we're able to do here is if we can keep putting pressure on that sector, then we can force them to stay there. The reality is they don't want to stay there. They need to be capturing the mining facility. So what we're going to do is we're going to defend this garrison a little bit and then head right back to the center. Get rid of this Typhoon, my British equivalent, basically. He's on fire. You're on fire, sir. Perfect. Let's head on back to the center. Keep pushing all of our bots and players to the center. Ooh, hello. Kind of pulling me away from the battle, but things I do for a kill. Excelente. We've got that bomber over there, but not... Get that guy. Specialized Yak-3. Definitely not the best plane for me to go up against, that's for sure. But again, we're going to just keep on pressuring, keep on pressuring. If we can keep on pressuring, then we can get a win just from forcing them to stay where they're not going to be effective, right? Okay. Ah, too much going on behind me. I can't get that. Let's go ahead and put our pneumatic control assist on here just so I can get turning as quickly as possible. Not to get away from anybody, but to get my guns on target quicker. Perfect. Can't do it much better than that. In my opinion, anyway. Let's get this ME410. We've got 10 seconds of engine cooling, so let's sneak up on this guy. Way out of our altitude bracket, but we cannot support you any longer. The storm is too heavy. Oh well, gonna die here. Hit my air brakes, diving down and avoiding, hopefully. Yes. Haha. Oh man, makes me feel good. All right, but that was just good teamwork, right? Me and the P-39N doing kind of what needed to be done. Let's head on back. Alright, so that first battle, 12 aerial kills, 3 sectors captured. Did I even do any ground damage? No, by the time my rockets hit the ground, it was already done. This was all air-to-air combat. I was able to get a Rocketeer versus that Heavy Fighter. Luckily, the rockets actually hit what I was aiming for. And honestly, was just able to out P-47 the enemy P-47. It's not strictly true, but we were able to out-cap it. And, you know, P-47 really needs to just do everything it can to capture sectors. And if you're not capturing sectors, then you're not going to be very effective. The other thing a P-47 needs to do is avoid confrontation, air-to-air confrontation at all costs. If I had gone to the center in my P-47 and an enemy F4U-4 came up and completely owned me, guess what? I'm not going to go back to the center there unless I know that Corsair is not there. So we were able to take advantage of the situation, which, you know, Corsairs are always good at that, and, you know, dictate the battle. All right, so second battle, we were able to do a little bit more. Well, a little bit more, really, honestly. So 16 air targets knocked out, only 2 sectors captured. Okay air damage, a lot of critical hits there. Look at all those critical hits. And keep in mind, the air-to-ground damage was only, like, in the very beginning, I believe, right? We didn't get to do any mining facility damage, and I never got the opportunity to drop the rockets when we were capturing the center. This particular battle, and actually the last battle as well, maneuverability dictated what I needed to do. So, unfortunately, you know, we had that Yak 3RD, but we were able to, you can still outplay planes that can outmaneuver you. Yak 3RD, for instance, they typically like to go really fast. So once I realized he was on me, I literally just hit the air brakes and kind of doing that Top Gun maneuver where they tend to fly past you. It doesn't work every time, obviously. If they've got quick enough reactions, they're clearly going to slow down as well, and then they can just, you know, easily outmaneuver you. But in the position that I was in, at way too high of altitude, going, you know, not optimum speed and certainly not optimum maneuverability, what other options did I have? We were able to win the game, and a plane that I really do quite enjoy. Yes, it's tier 7. Yes, it can, you know, be a pain in the butt to play this particular tier, but we were able to have a good impact on the game. I'm going to give this guy a GG. And then we'll say hi to Tabaki there. So, yeah, the biggest difference between this plane here and the F4U-1 at tier 6 is going to be the guns. The airspeed's a little bit faster. The altitude performance is a little bit better. The only reason my bombs / rockets are any better is because the equipment that I've got gives the rockets a little bit more damage. Your actual hit points is going to be slightly higher at tier 7, as you would think it would be. But again, the big differentiation between the F4U-1 and the F4U-4 is going to be these cannons. These 20mm cannons at tier 7 do 115 damage per second. Is the effective firing range different as well? Yes, there's slightly longer range, which is really, it's nice, right? You go from the M2s to the M3s, and so, you know, make sure that you're just aware of that. These cannons are really the biggest difference between tier 6 and tier 7. The rest of it is minuscule, but the cannons do make a big difference. In fact, the rockets are exactly the same, right? So the maneuverability is exactly the same. So, again, you just want to take advantage of that. Take advantage of the cannons for sure. I've got the exact same setup. If you just watched my F4U-1 video on Monday, this setup is exactly the same for the exact same reasons. Again, I don't use the rockets all the time. It's not like the British multi-role line where you're really trying to focus on, or for that matter, the P-47 line, where you're really trying to focus on your air-to-ground capabilities, or your reloads, you know, quick enough on the British line to be able to justify that. The reload's pretty long on this line, 2 minutes. And so even if you get all your rockets out, even if you reduce your reload time down to 100 seconds, is it, you know, really that? Is it worth that trade-off of losing a ton of speed? I'm not sure it is. I don't think it is. For my playstyle, it's not. How about we say that definitively? You know, I've tried to play it with a faster reload. Yeah, it's nice. but I feel like I'm wasting the potential of this plane because the guns are really what set this plane apart. It's certainly what sets it apart from the Tier 6. And so that's the reason I've gone with the exact same setup at Tier 7 as I had at Tier 6. And guess what? Spoiler alert, when we do the F2G, it's going to look very similar, isn't it? For the consumables, again, the exact same setup. I want to get my pilot back in as quickly as possible. I want to use pneumatic control assist either to get my guns on target quickly or try to dogfight something that I might need to try to dogfight in a pinch. Never rely on your dogfight abilities in this plane. Just know that it's there to be helpful. And engine cooling, get that extra 10 seconds worth of boost, whether it's to get from sector to sector, to try to fly up higher than you normally would to get a bomber, or an ME-410 in this instance. Or to try to get away from some of the slower planes like an A6M5, things like that. I've also gone ahead and put improved fragmentation on here because, you know what, if I'm going to be firing my rockets, I might as well have them have them doing more damage, right? And so, again, if we're used to the setup at the Tier 6, if you enjoyed the Tier 6 setup, you're going to find it's more of the same and not in a bad way. However you found success at Tier 6, double down on that at Tier 7 because it's the same plane, right? It's not a wild change, and so you want to just lean in on that and utilize the strengths of this plane and try to avoid its issues, which are not a lot, to be honest. Its altitude performance, but that's of every multi-role, is really its biggest issue. Focus on the firepower. Use that maneuverability when the interaction warrants it, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with this plane. I certainly did. This whole entire line I really enjoyed. So I'd love to hear your reactions. Is this a line that you enjoyed? I know I've got a lot of feedback on the F4U-1 video of this being a tech line that a lot of people liked. Was Tier 7 one of those tiers that even on this line you weren't enjoying, or did you enjoy the F4U-4 as well? I'd love to hear your comments down below, or otherwise feel free to hop in my Discord, and we can certainly have a conversation there. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.